Thank you very much for staying with us on TVC Breakfast. Now to an ongoing discussion that, we've been following here on TVC News in the country, of course, and beyond. And that is still on the death of popular singer Ilerioluwa Oladimeji Aloba, also called Mohbad or Imole. Well, the artist died last week in unclear circumstances, but the Lagos State Police Command has disclosed that an autopsy on the remains of the late singer has been concluded. And as we await the outcome of the autopsy result from the authorities, calls for justice get louder for the late singer. Meanwhile, the federal government, in its community engagement role, has assured Nigerians that the singer's death will be investigated and concluded, and that those found culpable will face the law. Well, beyond the death of Mohbad is also the issue of how committed the present administration is to see that Nigerians are involved in the decision-making process on issues that affect them. And these are some of the issues that we will be discussing now as we bring in the senior special assistant to the president on community engagement in the Southwest region, Moremi Ojudu. It's good to have you join us. Of course, she joins us from our Abuja studios. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here this morning.
Right. Of course, we understand that, in the course of your new role, and congratulations on your new role, we really wish you well and pray that you succeed in your mandate. And part of the work that we have seen you do so far has been to also speak to the issues somehow surrounding the death of Mohbad. We understand that you visited his mother. Tell us about the engagement with her and your message over this issue.
Okay, on visiting a mom yesterday, and his siblings, his manager, and a couple of his team members were also on ground at his home in Lekki. I was able to have a better discourse with them. And I think the issue stems from a mental health standpoint. My understanding is that he's been going through a number of issues, depressive, highly depressive, and this has affected his production, his productive energy. Unfortunately, he's been looking for a means to communicate to people or to communicate to someone who he can trust and, allay his fears, his concerns, and, all of the things that have been disturbing him. So I've been able to understand that in our new course of work, we need to find better means to engage people, let them know that there is somebody listening, and understand that you may have your issues as a person, but never be afraid to speak up. Always speak up. Silence is not the best. People may always talk. People would always have things to say about your actions. But no matter what you go through, endeavor to speak up.
Interesting. I love the advice you're actually giving out there to the youth, because I'm sure this matter really concerns a lot of youth, because of what we're seeing, the procession, the candlelight, and the solidarity they've all expressed, home and abroad. But a lot of people are calling for justice, and they want this to be served. But the question to be asked is, exactly what is justice for the people, or what do you think would be justice, and as people are calling for?
On this note, I'm actually imploring all his fans, every concerned supporter of Mohbad, to please allow justice take its full course on this issue. The government has launched a thorough investigation in Mohbad's issue and the issues surrounding his death, And I want everybody to just please allow the legal structure of this country take full course. Because it's not just about emotions, allegations. We need to go through a proper hypothetical, test around this. We need to understand, we need to wait, we need to get all of the findings, investigations, panels, and everything. Yesterday, on visiting the mom, I actually wanted to visit the mom and his wife, but when we got there, his wife had gone to Panti for questioning. So we would want the people out there, his fans, and family to please allow justice take its full course. And we're not relenting, we're not stopping Every day, something being done. Already, his body has been exhumed, and we're already working on the autopsy. I'm sure the autopsy results, as of yesterday, I think it was out, but we'll get more details on that. So let justice take its full course, and we want to let them know that everything it takes, we will ensure that justice is brought to book.
Right, and indeed, as we told our viewers earlier on the show this morning, that the police has indeed confirmed that the autopsy done on Mohbad after his exhumation, the exhumation of his corpse, that is, has been concluded, and the public is awaiting results. But looking at the wider issues surrounding your appointment and your mandate. Of course, you aren't the only SSA to the president on community engagement. You have colleagues, across the other geopolitical zones of the country. And this office that you are in now is rather new in terms of, positions, in terms of the advisory role that is expected from you and the others. But tell us how big a deal this is for you, and what your core areas of priority would be.
Our core areas of priority, I actually want to use this opportunity to thank Mr. President. It's a very big honor to, have this appointment, and I want to promise Mr. President I will do all it takes to ensure that the objectives of my office is fulfilled. Community engagement is quite vast. We're going to be dealing with all spheres of the community, and people, young people, old, and the children. Major focus will be on parleys. Will also be on meaningful engagement, as well as ensuring that we bring governance to people's doorstep and let them know that the government is a very empathetic government. The government is listening and ensuring that we're able to work with all stakeholders across the country. So it's a uniformed process with stakeholders, the communities, ensuring that we're able to alleviate their issues, the problems they may have, and bring solutions at a quicker approach.
I can see that's one of the things that you've actually embarked on, with your outing to commiserate the family of Mohbad who died. But then I'm also curious to know how you think your role as the community engagement, evolving in the current, political and social landscape and things that we see in happening in Nigeria. What strategies would you be employing to adapt to some of these changes?
Quite a number of strategies. As time goes by, we will launch it and we'll definitely let you know. Well, I can assure you that we will ensure that all zones in the country have a very enviable growth and development, something to be very proud of. And we're going to be promoting our country beyond the status quo.
Right, and during the elections of this year, many observed the active participation of the youth, and we saw their involvement across various divides, and it also was said to have been rather unprecedented in the history of electioneering. How does this make your work easier as you of course roll up your sleeves and get into the thick of things?
I really cannot hear you. I'm not able to get your question clearly, please.
All right. The question, Moremi, is about the active participation of the youth during the elections. And I said that many had observed it was unprecedented. And the question is how it will make your work easier. What value or what impact would it drive on your work in the Southwest?
The value of young people, or the value of youth participation? The value of what exactly?
Right. The value of active youth participation.
Oh, I got that clearly. The young people make a very large part of our community. Nigerian youth populace I think is the most beautiful. When I look at Nigerians, our young people's creativity, energy, and their strength, their resilience against all odds to succeed. And interestingly, our office is going to be working closely with the young people and making them understand that your energies are recognized. We're going to channel it to the best of, use and purpose. And also, now we have real Minister of Youth who are in the Young Fair. We have Mr. Ayo Wisdom. We also have Miss Jamila Abayo Ibrahim, who are working assiduously behind to ensure that we're able to bring all sectors, stakeholders on board to bring the best and the best value. And I must say that Mr. President is a lover of young people. He is so passionate about youth development, social development of young people, and promoting our energies to sustainable growth and heights. So I can tell you fully that we're working assiduously to ensure that youth value, the value of young people, is brought to fore for better development, exploiting our energies, exporting it out there as well.
I'm particularly curious because when she asked you, she particularly also mentioned the Southwest. And we know that the youth of Nigeria, are quite diverse, from different backgrounds, different regions and all of that. And they have their own idiosyncrasies. Go to the social media, you see what they do, what they say, their yearnings and aspiration. How do you think one can harness these, potentialities of this youth and also make them understand the value of being a patriotic Nigerian?
Engagement, reorientation as well, orientating them, making them understand the passion they must have for their country, making them understand that Nigeria is the best country they can be blessed with. And I say that proudly, making them understand that this is the time that they have a leadership that listens, that cares, and that supports the people. So I must also say this selfishly in a way that the Southwest has been a pace setter in terms of sustainable growth and development, brilliant brains. So, and also, the president is not just about the Southwest. You can see he's nominated a number of representatives across the zones. And dear Nigerian youths, dear young persons, and dear moms and dads at home, dear young children, this is the time, this is the government that has come to stay, and that we all need your support. We all need to come together to promote the policies, the framework, and the objectives that this government aims to achieve.
Of course, and we've seen the president before your announcement as one of his SSAs. We've seen the president in direct messages to the youth since his announcement as the winner of the presidential election by INEC. But a worry for many analysts has been the issue of trust deficit. And, I guess you would also be in a fine place to help address that now that the president has appointed you among his lieutenants, and you being a popular youth activist. I wonder how you hope to, make the president, more, or make the youth more endearing to the president? Or how do you see it? How do you see the issue of trust?
Okay, so my appointment stems from the government's intentionality, particularly the president's intentionality. It stems from a situation where the government was able to look deeply and say, okay, who can we pick? Who best fits for this position to, be able to collaborate effectively and partner effectively across all levels, particularly with a focus of young people. So I must say that I've been one person who has been very vocal in the development space. I've had my voice, heard and seen, and my face seen as well. So I think the government is highly intentional about our growth, and this also shows that in everything the government does, in every appointment that is made, there is a core focus on ensuring that we bring the right person, the right team on board to steer this process, to steer the structure. So that simply covers it. That's just all embedding, wherein the government looks at each person and says, okay, where does she fit in? Where does he fit in? What can we do? And this is me coming from the other side and coming here to work. So it just shows that experience that needs to be brought on board in government.
We also know that community engagement, very large community. I'm still very much particular about different areas of it. Part of it is also the issue of security and the insecurity issues that have been bedeviling in our country, Nigeria. Communication for development, because it's also very key for the people to know that their own strata of the layers of what makes Nigeria, they have a role to play. How much of communication do you think we need to get to onboard the people to understand the essence of the president's key agenda for the development of this country?
Okay, this is a bit hard because I'm trying to really get you clearly. Sorry about that. Security. Security stems from the community. Security leadership or the security forces should stem from the community. And I think basically this is something we're going to be working on as well. This is also a very, very major issue. I hope I'm able to answer your questions clearly because, I'm not able to get it clearly. However, I must say that security stems from the community and we're going to work with all stakeholders on the security issues that may stem, because every issue that we see on the security front stems from the basic, which is the community level. And we combine it, we're going to curb it right at the community level.
Promoting accountability and transparency is also an issue big on the minds of many youth. Of course, we see the youth now asking more questions, putting it to government or putting government on its toes, basically. And you have also, in the past, spoken to government in your days of activism, wearing this particular hat. How do you hope to enhance transparency in the government?
By letting you know everything we do, communicating appropriately, letting you know of our day-to-day activities, letting you know. I think right now we're working effectively on breaking down communication to the tiniest tidbit where it is easily understandable. We are bridging the gap, bringing government closer. And I can tell that so far we've done very well. I think we've gotten very good, positive feedback on our communication. We'll do better. We'll ensure that everything we do is properly broken down so that it is, very easy to comprehend, because comprehension is also very key. Knowing that we can communicate and you may not understand, or the populace may not understand. But one of the things we're being able to do, we're trying to do better, is to ensure that we not only communicate, but we communicate in a way that every level of individuals of the society can understand what we do. So we're working effectively on that, and I can tell you that the president is doing a very great job in that regard.
I'm also quite excited with some of the appointments made by the president so far, because I tend to have seen, some of the youth who are represented, talk about the Minister of Digital Economy, Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, also talk about the other ministries where we have, younger chaps, now overseeing. How do you intend to, apart from advising the president, how do you also intend to, harnessing, working with these various ministries for the benefits of all? Do you see yourself, working with them in an amiable relationship?
Yes. Government is collaboration. Government is partnership. We're going to be working with them across all boards, because this is the time for us to come together and ensure that we work effectively towards a goal. And our basic goal is growth and development, fostering growth, fostering peace, and ensuring that our country is one to be proud of. So we are going to be working together across all ministries. And I tell you, interestingly, that ministers are also working very well. There's a wonderful interpersonal relationship between many of the ministers, and we're all doing everything together to create a fantastic team. It's about teamwork, team play, and, everything will be put to play in best time.
Right. And talking about engagement, the president, from day one has been in the news with his resolutions, with actions taken by him. Of course, the issue still continues to be the issue of the fuel subsidy removal. And I'm just, I want to know how that is also fitting into your engagement with, various groups, and not just the youth. I reckon that you will not just be talking with or working with the youth at this times, but in terms of, job generation, unemployment reduction, what is your mandate in this regard, and how do you hope to lessen the worrying numbers?
First of all, I sympathize with, the populace and the masses on the effects of the subsidy removal. It's one that everybody feels, be it on this side or the other side. We all feel the pains and groans. But at this time, it's something that just needs to go for us to move forward. And I can tell you and assure everyone out there that we're going to do everything possible to alleviate the pains and the effects of subsidy removal. We're doing everything in our best interest, in everybody's interest, to ensure that the pains are relieved for the masses out there, the older men at the market, the exchange rate, and so much more. And in due course, you will get to see all of this, and you will all be beneficiaries of the plans we have, the humanitarian plans we have for the people. So I just want to encourage everybody to please be a bit patient. They say that something that would be good will take a bit of time. So please, I want to implore us all to trust the president, his team, and be rest assured that we hear you, we feel you, and we will do all it takes to ensure that your lives are better.
Quite interesting, and I love the points that you actually raised. But I want to take you back in time, a bit of a tie back to an open letter you wrote to the former president, Muhammad Buhari, appealing to him. And I quote, you said that, the truth of the matter, sir, is that never have we witnessed on this scale the excruciating pains and feelings of hopelessness now pervasive. Not even the hardship of the Second Republic comes any close. This is you, expressing your worries about the situation of the country back then. Now you are in an administration that has promised Nigeria a renewed hope agenda. We're coming to Nigeria with the renewed hope agenda. How do you feel now getting in the fray and seeing yourself, being a participant in driving Nigeria to let me say, a promised land?
Nigerian, and whatever happens in my country makes me concerned and makes me an automatic stakeholder. Now, I've been on this side where I've led protests, I've written open letters, and I've been able to explain and express myself, which is a civil right of every Nigerian, be it young or old. Now I've been called to do it. So this has opened my own mindset. I have a broader perspective to how things work. And I can say that for me, it's a wake-up call to understand. Apart from understanding, to do my own groundwork, then understand and find solutions. In finding solutions, you need to collaborate. You need to reach out to people. You need to partner. You need to, find the ways to get the solutions. So I can assure you that for me and Mr. President, who has been able to discover my talent, this is an opportunity for us to serve. This is an opportunity for me to be able to relate better, use my energy, bring in my energy, and be able to, galvanize towards what we need to do or what needs to be done.
All right, and of course, we are nearing the end of the allotted time for this interview, but I know many people watching would also be interested for you to speak on, issues, the fact that you are here in the Tinubu administration. Your father made the news earlier before the emergence of President Tinubu as, president, in an open letter explaining his reason to support, another aspirant at the time. And, so many issues, came up following your announcement as one of the president's SSAs. How do you react to this, interesting slant? Now people saying, okay, from the same family, we're having two members of the same family who may not have supported the president. And what impact does it have on your work?
No impact, because for me, I think Nigerians should be happy and proud that I come from a home that is politically independent-minded, wherein I've been given a very sound education, where I can decipher, where I can know the best actions to take, where I can, despite my father's, political affiliations or anything, I'm still able to take my own decisions. That shows sound education that have been given to me by my parents. And I must also, give them credence for how well I've been grounded from childhood with the best education, the best values, and the best trainings any child, particularly the girl child, can get. It's something to be proud of, bearing in mind that, my father is on this side, I'm on that side, and we're still cool. I think it just shows the best, and I think it's something that every parent out there should emulate, wherein you do not have to influence your child's decisions. You allow them to take their decisions. However, what you can do behind the scene is to guide them and give them that necessary, leadership and tutelage in a very careful manner. And, education. I've been given the best of education, exposure, and I'm so proud of my parents. My mom and my dad are really, really, really wonderful. And it doesn't affect my work. No, not in any way. That's his position, and this is my position. And it's fantastic.
Moremi Ojudu there, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagement. Thank you very much for speaking with us on TVC Breakfast. And indeed, we wish you well in your new assignment and hope that you will continue to make us proud. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Nigerians. Thank you, TVC, for having me. It's been an interesting show with you.